I suppose this would be a huge undertaking in all areas of your business, but would you consider taking pre-orders? I live in such a time zone that when you release new pens, I'm fast asleep, only to wake and receive the email notification, but the pen or ink has already sold out. That sucks, Knack, and I'm so sorry. I know that this is one thing that happens, especially to our overseas folks in Asia, Australia, other parts of Europe maybe, depends on how late we release things. We have gone away from releasing especially hot items in the morning, because then even on the West Coast in the US, they're kind of getting the shaft a little bit. So we tend to try to launch things in like the early afternoon, because then most people in Europe can get it kind of late at night. Most people in the US are already up and awake, but still we can't really do much about Asia and Australia because it's the complete like opposite side of the earth from us. And my team is only staffed during certain hours. We can't launch things at 3 o'clock in the morning here. It just kind of stinks, and I totally get that. So it would seem at first glance like a pre-order situation might help with that. The challenge is when we're out of something that sells within a couple of hours, like when we launch in the middle of the night, you wake up and it's already sold. That means there's such hot demand that we would sell out of pre-orders. So even if we allowed pre-orders on things, it would still sell out, except most people, it would sell out before they even kind of heard about it or would even have the opportunity to buy it. We did one pre-order. We did one pre-order once. This was for the original the second ever J.R. Bomb Rouge Hematite, the 1670 ink, the original red one. We got like 10 bottles or something in the first shipment we ever got. Second shipment we ever got, I think we like finagled our way to get 20 bottles. Like, think about that. 20 bottles of ink for our entire world audience. Granted, our world audience was not that much to speak of back in 2010. But that's all we had was 20 bottles. So after the first shipment, it sold out immediately, and nobody knew who we were, and we were nobody, so it sold out. But still, it was hot. People were looking around for it. So we took pre-orders for the very second order. This was like our first few months in business. What happened is we actually oversold on pre-orders because we didn't know exactly how many bottles we were going to get. We just said, okay, we're going to have a running list and we're going to go down the list. Technically, we didn't even take everybody's money, but we just said we have a running list and we're going to guarantee you stock as long as we get what we get. So we got it, and I think we had a list of like 26 people or 27 people, somewhere along those lines. And then they told us, yep, you're getting 20 bottles. And so we had to go back to those 6 or 7 people and say, sorry, we know we told you that you were going to get it, but you weren't first in line actually, so you're not going to get it. And then what happened is, so like the first or third person that we did, when it came time to pony up, they were waffling and they didn't pay right away, and so it was just like we had to chase them down, and it was just like, come on, really? So people ended up being disappointed, all this kind of stuff. And then we never even listed it on our website. It all sold through email or whatever means that somebody had contacted us. And I was like, this is just a terrible way to do things because we're making everybody unhappy except for those few people that just happen to email us and just get lucky. I was like, this is really frustrating, an entirely manual process. We just can't function this way as we grow. So that was the first and last time that we ever did that. And I'm glad it's that way, frankly, even though it totally stinks for people in your situation, and I recognize that. For us to do it any other way at this point with such unreliable stock, there's just no way that we could manage it well. Now, there could be an opportunity for something like a VIPs club or some sort of, loyalty program, or we could charge a premium to do that. I don't know, that's not going to sit well for most people, but we could theoretically charge a premium to curb demand to be able to do a pre-order situation. I don't know, there's a lot of different ways it could possibly be done, or it could be a lottery type situation. I know I've seen that with like hot shoes when they're selling, like if there's a local store and they're getting 100 pairs of shoes, they're going to sell for like $1,000 afterward, but they have to sell it at $150 or whatever the case may be. So they do a lottery to keep the drama down. So it's like you show up within a certain window, you put in your ticket or whatever, and then a lottery is given out, and those 100 people or whatever get the chance to buy the shoes first. So that could be another opportunity, but that's tough. That's really tough. So it's something that we're thinking and we talk about a lot here. But in the meantime, the fairest way that we know to do it is to be first come, first serve. Everybody gets an email notification. It goes out at the same time. I know not everybody's on the same schedule, but at least then the notification goes out at the same time, and it's just kind of whoever shows up first and buys it, that's the thing. So, I'm really curious to kind of piggyback that, not my question of the week, but my question of the question is, what have you guys ever seen, not even pen companies necessarily, but just what have you seen other companies that have hot stock do to curb high demand or to manage high demand during product launches, whether it's like shoes or fashion, electronics, whatever. Specifically, if it's like an online scenario, I would love to hear what your experiences, your positive experiences have been in that way that you feel is fair. And that's something that we could maybe consider. Part of the reason we moved our website is because there are a lot more opportunities for us to plug in apps and things like that. Our old site was very limited, and it was just like, we can only do this. But we may have some opportunities to get creative and do some custom development that could be interesting. So I'm curious about that.